Good evening. My name's Harl Rain with Redneck EdTech, and here is our hot take on Kira 101's Chatpod feature. Now, once you go to kira-learning.com and log in, you should be at your dashboard. Dashboard is a little different since the launch of 2.0, so please make sure you take the time to go ahead and log in. Again, if your side panel is collapsed, please select the K, and that'll go ahead and open up the full Kira side panel where you can see everything. Home is where I'm at. Your dashboard itself loads in, lets you see what's going on. Your library, everything's there. Just like before in any of the other trainings, nothing's changed except for the addition of the Student Atlas tab, which is now featured, which wasn't when I first started doing Kira. They're rolling out new things every day. It seems like at Kira, they're always adding to it, making the platform better. So don't expect to be a master at all of it at once. Find one little thing that you like and go with it. Slowly but surely expand out, get comfortable, and you'll see the benefits in your classroom. So today, what I'm wanting to help you with is one of the AI tools, it's one of the AI tools called a chatbot. It's right there. Now, whenever you're on the home page, in case you can't see it, you can hit View All, which will take you here to the AI tools page so that you can see everything. Again, tons of tools to help you be more effective in the classroom, automate some of the tedious administrative daily tasks. But the thing that I want to look at today is called the chat pod. Now, chat pods are like chat bots, but they're pods because Kira's an octopus. And the cool thing about chat pods is that you set the information. So here, let's go ahead and select Use Tool. Whenever I select the Use Tool, here's your information for your chatbot. The first thing you've got to do is pick a grade level. I'm going to go ahead and select 11th grade. And you've got to give it a title. So let's say Kira 101 Chatpod Demo. And then your prompt. Now, your prompt, of course, the more you are structuring your prompt, the more comfortable you are with your prompt engineering, the more effective your chatbot can actually be for your students. Now, here I'm going to say, ask questions to teachers to make sure they understand how to use chatpods in Kira. Now, again, not a great prompt, and we want to make sure that we make it better, so improve prompt. When I select this, we're using AI to create a better prompt. Here, it says students will be able to explain in their own words how to access, launch, and navigate chatpods within Kira and identify the key steps required to use them effectively in their teaching workflow. If time allows, students will be able to analyze examples, use cases of chatpods in Kira to determine how they could support instruction, assessment, or student practice. Time allows, students will be able to create a brief plan describing when and how they would integrate a chatbot into an upcoming lesson or activity in a clear, intentional way. Wow. It's a lot different than the prompt I started with. If you want more context, you can include a standard or a skill or directly attach a file. These are all great things. Now, when you're ready for it and you hit start, we're now running the demo here on the side. It says to kick things off in your own words, what do you think a chatbot in Kira might be, and what would you expect it to do? I think it's kind of like a chat bot, but specialized by the teacher. See what it says. Says I'm on the right track. The chatpod in Kira is very much like a specialized chatpod. And now it comes in here and it gives me some options. It's trying to make sure that I understand everything. Read aloud features, everything's here. You can tell that this could be beneficial in class. Now, I've got a couple that I've already created and I've saved. One that I use, and I love to use this, I just recreated the example so you can see it because I keep the prompt and the sticky on my system. So every time we do a new lesson or a new section, I can use that same prompt, create a new chat pod. And I know that I can reuse chat pods and I can change things in them, but I prefer to create new chat pods named for each specific thing that we're doing. That way, when I create my lessons and I attach it to it, it makes it easier for me to go back and watch what the students are doing. It's personal preference. Again, you do you. Find one thing you're comfortable with and go with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out of this. I'm going to come back here and look in my library. And you're going to see that we have the 7 layers of the OSI model. Okay. Now, if we look at all resources, you'll see that there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff on here. But what I'm looking at right now is the 7 layers of the OSI model. Now, when I put in my prompt, the AI assisted me with changing my prompt to students will be able to identify and explain the functions, characteristics, and common devices or protocols associated with each of the 7 layers of the OSI reference model. And it lists them by answering multiple choice review questions aligned with the CompTIA Network Plus exam objectives, DOK levels 1 through 3. Students may also analyze scenarios to determine which model, which layer is involved. And so it sets it up. Everything's cool. I go ahead, I go to run this. When it starts, first off, it's right into the questions. By building it this way, I can go ahead and select one, and it's going to let me know I did it right. Here's my next question. Again, I select one. Not quite, and it's going to help me out. Now, look at the question. Which of the following best describes the primary function of the network layer? On the question before, it is the same question. Now, it's going to give me a second chance, but it's going to help me out and give me a little bit of information right here. That works great for kids trying to review for a test. You can go ahead and throw this out there, give them 10 minutes, give them 20 minutes, whatever. Give it to them as the review the night before and load in all the information with the file attachments and standards and things like that for them to go with. Me personally, the one that I like is this one, my 1.0, the pre-edit. Now, if you want to, you can slow it down. You can pause this. You can take a screenshot of this. If I'm thinking about it and I get around to it, I'm going to try to go ahead and include the prompt on the YouTube channel or one of the posts. I'll try to include the prompt. But again, it's going to take me a hot minute to get that done. So just work with me. What I used for my prompt was I said using the objective, said prompt students with multiple choice DOK level 1 through 3 review questions for a test related to the Open Systems Interconnection OSI reference model. And I listed the 7 layers. I told it to keep track of how many questions the student got correct and how many students got incorrect. And if the student answers correctly, congratulate them, move to the next one. If they answer incorrectly, they have to give a rationale for the correct answer and offer to provide a little tutorial or something like that if they need it. So that'll be included in the rationale. Then if they choose yes and explain the concept to them before moving on to the next one, choose no, provide them with the next multiple choice question. So let's take a look at the way that this is slightly different than version 2. So it says, I'll ask you, let's scroll back up here, it's a little fast. I'll ask you multiple choice questions at varying difficulty levels. I'll keep track of how many you got right and wrong. If you miss one, I'll explain and offer a short tutorial before moving on. Let's get going. So which layer of the OSI model is responsible for converting data into bits? and transmitting them over a physical medium such as cable or radio waves. Again, I select one. I give Kira a second. Here we go. Correct. Great job. Right? That's 1 for 1. Off to a perfect start. Which device operates at layer 2? Data link of the OSI model and uses MAC addresses to forward frames within a local network. Again, I select an answer. Give Kira a second. And here's the difference. Not quite. The correct answer is C, switch. And then it talks about how a switch operates at layer 2, data link and uses MAC addresses. And it's a quick breakdown of why the other options are incorrect. Router, hub, and repeater. Correct score, 1 and 1. And ask, would I like a short tutorial on this before going on? Explain the concept, or no, let's move on to the next question. I like this one better myself because I'll take this chat pod and I'll put it out there and I'll tell my kids, you've got to work on this until you get 20 correct answers, and then they got to take a screenshot of it and submit it. Well, I'll have them restart this multiple times because they don't want to go out there and have it show that they got 20 correct but 15 incorrect. So this actually works really well. You can take it, you can launch these sessions, you can assign them to a specific student, you can assign them to an entire class. It's up to you. You can run it as standalone. If I go to launch a session, I can invite with a share code, add individual students, or add a whole section. It's up to you. And that's the cool thing about this, is it allows students to be able to actually communicate with the AI without fear of reprisal. Understand that the AI that's used within Kira is Socratic in nature. So it's not going to give them the answer. It's only going to help direct them or steer them towards the correct answer and help explain to them the concepts along the way. Many times kids want to ask questions for fear that they'll be singled out in class. They don't want anybody laughing at them. I understand that. So giving them this idea to do it this way has proven very beneficial. Let's take a look and see what happens when I say, yes, please explain the concept. Now, again, it takes a second. So assigning this the night before, assigning this in class and giving just a little time. Now take a look at this. It puts it together. Here's a quick tutorial over layer 2. What does the data link layer do? Key concepts, MAC address, frames, switches, sublayers of the data link. Goes through common data link protocols. Goes through it. Now you've got a solid understanding. Let's keep going with the next question. Immediately into the next question. Which of the following best describes the purpose of the network layer, layer 3 of the OSI model? In case you hadn't figured it out, I select A on every question whenever I demo. That way I get them right and I get them wrong, and you get to see both. Again, boom, it hits me with not quite the correct answer is C. It explains to me why the other answers are wrong. Tells me I've got 1 right and 2 wrong. And it wants to know, do I want a short tutorial over layer 3 network layer concepts? Again, no, I'm just moving to the next question this time. Now, it may come up again later that they have a layer 3 network question. And if that's the case, then we'll come on back to it. Which of the following best describes the difference between TCP and UDP at the transport? And this is another incorrect answer. So it's letting me know 1 right and 3 wrong. I'm not going to take a screenshot of that and submit that to my teacher. I'm going to go back and restart this thing. So having the opportunity to create your prompt, edit it, use the AI to help assist you with what's going on, then attach the documents that you actually want to use. Once you go in there and test it, you like it, but there's still something you want to change, go into edit. When you go into edit, again, it's going to bring up the prompt. It's going to give you the chance to improve it. But remember, once you hit improve, your prompt has changed. Okay? You can add checkpoints. You can add standards, files, additional context. That can be images. You can have a student facing description or a teacher facing description or a student description. You can give your avatar names and include it. You can add, I mean, it's just, Kira's giving you a lot of freedom here to make this in a way that benefits the students, gets them engaged and involved, lets them feel successful in their efforts. And here's the deal. While all of this is going on, I can see it on the teacher's side. I can see what the students are doing. I can monitor their progress and tell who's heavily engaged, who's moderately engaged. If they're putting in something offensive or if they're asking questions they shouldn't be, I can tell that on my side, but I don't tell my kids that. I keep that for me. And if a kid's doing something they shouldn't, I call them out one-on-one. But one thing that it does do is it allows that kid to restart it multiple times until they get the score and the image that they want to submit, so they can save face in front of their friends. And when we go to pull it up and look at it, hey, they went 20 straight questions correct. They feel better about themselves. It's just a way for them to have a little success and a little pride in their work. So understand chatpods are great. Now, you can incorporate them in pretty much anything you want, but like I said, if you want to even just take it and assign it, we use an LMS at our school called Schoology. So you can take this and you fix how many days, how many hours, how many minutes you want this to work. And this is another key thing, because some school systems don't want the students having access to the AI model outside of school grounds for fear that they'll build a relationship with the AI. By developing the chatpod the way it is, it's focused only on the material at hand. I said how many hours or minutes it's available for students to use before it shuts down. I embed this within my LMS, and even if I've set it up to where it ends at the end of the day, even when that kid goes home and tries to access it, they can't get it. So understand that it gives you the freedom to keep the kids secure. If you don't want them having the AI tutor when they're going through their lessons and they're at home, you turn it off. If you don't want them having it in class, you turn it off. You don't want them to access a chat pod outside of school, set a timer so it ends before that time. You have freedom to do any of this. So I know this was a brief overview of everything with chatpods. Again, I'm going to hang out here for anybody who's got any questions. If you want to build or customize any of your own, I'll be here to sample it. But I'm probably going to end up cutting the video here for the post. If you need anything else, drop it in a comment or hang around and just ask me personally once we're off the line, and I'll take care of you. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out, and hanging on. My name's Harl Rain. This is Redneck EdTech's take on chatpods with Kira Learning. Class dismissed.